Hello, good morning, and welcome to Free Advice Friday. My name is Keri Barnum for New Shelves Books, and we are here every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern to talk about book marketing, publishing, and the business of being an author. You can join us live by going to newshelves.com/FAF, or you can always listen to the replays on YouTube, which is simply New Shelves Books on YouTube. So we are going to jump right in with questions. Our first question looks like it's from Ted. What ideas do you have for marketing a nonfiction book? Ted, that's a good question, but it really does depend with nonfiction what the topic or genre is. So when we're talking about nonfiction books, poetry is nonfiction, but it's marketed very differently than a memoir or a self-help book. So a lot of it does depend on the genre and the topics. The other thing that you really have to look at is your target audience. Now, these are the people who ideally you're going to target because they are the people who would read your book. And I was just talking to someone about this last night, that oftentimes, number one, the writer is not their target audience, but also it's thinking outside the box of that your target audience may not be the people you know. So for example, I know you asked about nonfiction, but this is just such an easy to understand example, but people who are writing young adult fiction are typically women who are in their 40s or in their 30s to 50s. And then young adult fiction is often also written by men who are in their 40s to 60s. But they are not the target market. The target market, as in the genre, is young adults. It is, young adults from 13 to 18 or a subset of that. And so we really do have to think about when marketing, not what you like, where you hang out, where you find books, but who's your target audience and where do they hang out? So if you write poetry, a lot of people are finding poetry on Instagram. They're finding it at coffee houses, from word of mouth, from artistic places. And so that might be there. If you have a self-help book, it depends on the topic of what you're helping people with. If you have a book that is all about back pain, for example, well, then where do people go when they have back pain? Usually they're going to chiropractors or going to doctors. A lot of people are going to be in libraries. What is the age demographic that typically has back pain? So I'm not saying that a 20-year-old can't have back pain, but we all know as we get older, back pain just gets more intense, or we've got less of a tolerance for it. And so knowing that market and knowing where they hang out means that's where you market to. So maybe it's guest blogging for a chiropractor's website or blog, or connecting with a library to do a talk on back pain or one of those things. If you have I don't know, maybe it's a health, fitness, and diet book. Well, then where do people hang out that are doing health, fitness, and diet? If you've got a lot of recipes, they're probably on TikTok, they're probably on Instagram. But if it's more of the workout aspects, those could also be on Instagram, but more on TikTok, and different things like that. But you have to know where your audience is hanging out and focus your marketing there. Because if you do all the right things in marketing, like you're marketing well, but you're marketing to the wrong audience, you're not going to get anywhere because it's the wrong audience. They're not your demographics. So that's a really key part, is knowing your target audience. And then from there, knowing where they hang out. And if you don't know yet, that's okay. Do some research, really look into it. Look at other books that are comps to yours that are in the same kind of category. Where are those bestsellers showing up? Where are they being talked about? Where are they being reviewed or interviewed? And that's where you want to go. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Lawrence has a question about the new KDP categories. Any suggestions about the new KDP categories and what should the subsets represent? I do. I actually just recorded a video, Lawrence, that is all about the new KDP categories and actually showing you those categories in a KDP account. I already recorded it. I just have to splice it together. So I hope to have that video up on YouTube in the next week. So if you're not following us, youtube.com/New Shelves Books, make sure you do that and you will be able to see that tutorial and a look at the KDP dashboard in the categories in dashboard. But as an overview, categories have changed for Amazon. Everything changes at Amazon, right? So Amazon categories, it used to be that you could have 10 categories. Now you can only have 3. However, those 3 categories are in your dashboard when you set up a book on KDP now. So there's no more, they won't even accept it anymore, emailing KDP and requesting that they put certain categories on your book. They no longer do that. What they have done is they've created a new KDP category dashboard when you upload your book or in the details of your book on KDP. And what they've done is every category that is available on the sales website, you can now access through that KDP dashboard. But you do have to kind of follow, you have to know the main category. So like, okay, romance, then you have to know it's contemporary romance. Then you have to know it's, I don't know, young adult romance or whatever it is. So you have to kind of know the path, but they are all available in there. So in some ways it makes it more complicated for authors because they have to do this step themselves, but it is also easier for authors because now you don't have to wait for KDP or ask them to put categories on your book. You can just do it yourself. So as far as suggestions, here's the thing. If your categories were optimized prior to this change and you were ranking well, you don't have to do anything. Your top 3 categories are going to stay on your book. So you don't need to do a thing. Keep it as is. Now, if you're not happy with the categories that your book is in, then you can go into your KDP dashboard and update your categories. Or if you're uploading a new book, you now have access to the full category list. But the way that it was worded kind of made it sound like people who already have books up have to go change things, and you don't. Go look at your Amazon sales page, check your categories. If you're happy with what's in there, you don't need to update or change anything. And I personally would not update or change anything. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So, but again, I will have a YouTube video coming out where I actually show you the dashboard and I show you these things in real time. So if you're a visual person, follow YouTube and you'll get that notification by the end of next week. See, is POV deep third person real? What is it? Examples. That is a good question. That's more of like a craft question, but is it real? Yes. Here's the thing. POV, like we used to have back in the day, we had like first person, third person, and omnipotent, and that's all we really talked about. But there are all sorts. I mean, there have been so many changes and accepting of people being creative with their POV that like almost anything goes. We've seen those novels where it's actually putting you in it. So rather than me talking about me, it's like you reach for the door handle and you peek through, and that second POV. And those things, I mean, it's crazy that those things are hard to pull off, but it absolutely can work. And so I think that's one of those things that we're seeing. And then of course we have, you know, first person where it's, you know, I, me, my, I went to the door and peeked through. And then we have the omniscient, which is Kelly went to the door and peeked through. And as far as that third person, the they, them, their, yes. And then there are these subsets of it, like deep POV or deep third person. And the thing about that is sometimes it's just the way that people are talking about it. But it silences the narrative voice. So it takes the reader into the character's mind. So if you've ever read books where there's a lot of like italics because people are thinking everything, that's deep POV. And can it be used? Yes. But here's the thing. A novel that's strictly in deep POV you would have to be a master at your craft to pull that off, because that means there's not a lot of dialogue, that everything's happening in someone's head. And you would have to have really great formatting to show the difference between what was happening in someone's head and what's happening in real life. Can it be done? Yes, it can. Can it be done for an entire novel? I mean, that's going to be hard. Because we like dialogue. It's kind of, what was that movie? Tom Cruise movie, Castaway. Castaway was like the first movie that had like almost an hour of no talking whatsoever. You're just with Tom Hanks on the beach and his little ball Wilson. And it was like 40 minutes or more where like that was all that was happening. Now you're kind of in his head, you're kind of seeing what's happening, but we like dialogue. We like talking. We like, that interaction. A lot of emotion and thing can come through that. And especially in a world where we say show, don't tell, it's really hard to show, not tell, when you're only living in their own experience in their head. Yeah, Tom Hanks, not Tom Cruise. Look, all the Toms, I love them all. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tom Hanks. I love your acting. Like he's watching this. Please, if Tom Hanks is watching this, please let me know. But anyway, so the deep POV is like literally you're in the mind, and you probably have written like this. If you're writing in third person already, where you're kind of following a character that way, chances are that you have had some of that where it's like, and then, I wonder what's on the other side of the door, she thought, or that kind of thing. You're probably already doing it. We're just giving it fancy names now. And I think that happens a lot in the publishing and writing world, is where some of these things that we talk about, we give it a name and authors are like, oh, well, am I doing that? Am I not doing that? What is it? And should I be doing it? Do I need to change everything? And it's like, no, you're absolutely doing it. We just gave it a fancy name. And can you use it? Yes. Is it something it's like you must have in your novel? No, it's not. It's really up to you and how you use it. So that's what it is, though. That's what I think about it personally. Let's see. Next question was more on sales. So we have an author who at one point did a offset print run of 4,000 copies of their book. It sold well when it first came out, but it's been several years. And of the 4,000 copies, they've sold 3,900, but they still have 100 copies or so of that book left over. And they're wondering how best to sell those copies of the book, because now they're sitting probably in their basement or their garage or their attic or something like that. I know I've talked to quite a few authors who've done an offset print run who may end up with this issue. So if you've got a bunch of copies of your book, how do you sell them? There are a couple of ideas. It does depend on how old the book is, how relevant it is, if it's still trending, that kind of thing. But you can try for a bulk sale. So trying to reach out to a school or a corporation or something along those lines for a bulk sale, where you try to say, I know you're a school, you've got a bunch of kids. Would you be interested in doing an author event where, I speak to 100 first graders and they all get a copy of the book, and you make it part of that package deal. So you could try for a bulk sale. If you're trying to sell these books online, you can get an Amazon Seller Central account. Just know that a seller account means that you literally are just a seller on Amazon. So you get set up on Amazon. You do have to pay a fee to use their platform, and then you sell the book through Amazon. But when an order comes in, it comes into you directly, and you are responsible for fulfillment of that product. So you've got to take that book, you got to put it in the envelope, and then you got to ship it out. And people on Amazon are spoiled. We are used to prime shipping, which means we're getting our stuff in like 2 days. So you have to kind of be available to ship quickly. This is not something that, okay, yeah, I got that order, I'll ship it out in a week. That's not how this works. So if you're going to sell on Amazon, you really have to have things in place. For example, if you're going on vacation or something like that, a sale comes through, you need to have a plan for how that book gets out. Other kind of more not as conventional for books per se, but you can also try selling on Etsy or eBay if you've got extra stock of books. Some authors will do this anyway, just for like signed copies of their book. You can always sell through your website, where you're doing signed copies through your website. If you have one, just keep in mind that if you're selling direct through your website, you once again have to have a plan in play for how are you going to receive funds. When you sell the book, how are they paying? Most people use something like PayPal or something like that. But then again, you have to ship it. And then also, do you have enough traffic coming to your website that you could hope to sell these things, or are you going to be driving traffic to your website to sell them? So that's another option. And then you can, if it's still a current book, that kind of thing, you can try to set up something like a library signing or a bookstore event and ask if you can sell those books there. So at a library, sometimes they'll let you sell the books directly at a library event, or they will allow you to put it in the library store if they have one at, the library keeps a small percentage. Or if you're going to a bookstore, you can ask if they take books on consignment, or if you can do an event and bring books for consignment. So those are kind of your options, but a lot of it depends on if this book is still relevant. If this book is from 20 years ago, no one probably wants them. If it's a much older book, you probably can't even donate them. Libraries like to keep their catalogs, or try to keep their catalogs, about 10 years or younger. So if you've got a 20-year-old book, your library probably doesn't want it. If you donate it to your library, they're probably going to sell it at their next Friends of the Library sale for 25 cents, something like that. I mean, you can absolutely do that, but that's not typically the books they're looking for. In some cases, you can donate books to prisons. So again, if maybe you're willing to donate the book, sometimes you can even take it as a tax write-off. So sometimes you can donate books to schools, to shelters, to like women's shelters, or different shelters like that. You can go to some prisons will take donated books. So maybe that's an idea for you, just depending on exactly what you're trying to get out. If you're really trying to earn back something on those books, or if you just can't bear to throw them away. I'll also say little free libraries. So I do a lot of work, obviously, with authors, and it's not unusual for me to get a carton of books for reviews or ARCs or Instagrammers and that kind of thing. And sometimes I've got leftover books. I'll have, 5 or 6 leftover books, and I obviously don't need that many copies of any of these books. But what I will do often is I will go around to little free libraries, and I will put the book in little free libraries. And that's kind of a fun way to market a book, because it's getting into new hands, but also to donate it in a non-conventional way. So there is this website, it's called littlefreelibrary.org. And if you go to it, it's kind of cool. Because they have a interactive, sorry, I'm on the site and I'm going to share my screen. They have this interactive platform where you can go to littlefreelibrary.org. And this is, again, kind of a fun, creative way to market your books, especially if you have like ARCs or extra copies of your book laying around. And you can go to littlefreelibrary.com and you go to find, and you can actually go on here and you can find libraries within a certain area. So I could do, distance. You can search it. So I could do Virginia Beach, VA. I didn't have a space, so we'll maybe have to have an issue with that. But it'll give you different little free libraries in that area, which is fun. Okay, the app is much easier to use. Their website's not set up for this, obviously, but it is a fun thing to do. And you've got to, I wonder if I get closer, if it'll, oh, well, I think they do show up on the map. Anyway, the app is way better. Yeah, sure, saying The app is better. She likes the app. Yes, the app. Go for the app. I was trying to show you guys on here, but it's a fun thing. And so I actually have clients. I have a client who did this recently, as he did a road trip recently. He writes historical fiction, and he went and did this road trip visiting all of these places that are in his books. And he was taking pictures and putting up on social media. One of the things he also did is he mapped out little free libraries on his way. So he brought like 15 copies of his books, and he put his book in little free libraries all around, which was fun. And he also had like a note in there. So it was like, hey, I'm the author, follow me here. So if you have swag, if you've got like business cards or bookmarks or something like that, and you can put a personal note in the book and say, hey friend, so glad that you picked up my book. I'd love to connect with you, and give them your info, like your website or something, not like your personal information, but like your website or something. That can be a really fun way to market your book, because it's kind of fun, right? Like I think it's fun when you have that kind of special like secret inside of a book, and someone opens it and it's like it's a real thing. And it can be a very creative way to market a book. That's the kind of thing that like someone ends up taking a picture of it and talking about it on social media, and it goes viral because everyone's like, oh, that's a happy story. And we are desperate for happy stories. Like we just want good news. So let's see. So that would be kind of another way to get rid of excess books if you have them. Which is where it all started, right? And I will say, so we always talk about kind of, with a lot of clients, I talk about print on demand versus offset print, and kind of the benefits and the challenges. And the challenges of offset print are that you committed to a big quantity of these books being printed. So number one, if there's a mistake in the book, you're stuck, and you're not, that if you ordered 4,000 copies of a book and there is a proofreading error on page 1, you've got 4,000 copies of that book with that proofread order or error. And it is kind of what it is. You can't change that. So there's kind of that risk, but also just knowing that you have to sell a certain quantity of books before you kind of, well, not break even. Most of the time, typically, because offset print books are cheaper, by about the time you've sold anywhere between a third to a half, you've broken even, and the rest is profit. And it can be more profitable. I will say that I have a client, now we order in big numbers for him. We're ordering in upwards of 10,000 copies at a time for him, but his book, when printed offset, is less than $3 per copy for a hardcover with foiled and like special things on there, but we're ordering 10,000 copies at a time. So there's quantity discount there, but the profit margin, even after paying for distribution in a warehouse, is so much higher than you would get on print on demand. For a hardcover, print on demand, selling at the same price point, like the same book that's not as nice, print on demand for a hardcover, he would probably earn, at a full trade discount, probably be earning $1 or $2 per book sold. But because he has offset print, he not only has fancier printing, he's got better distribution because it's available through like Baker and Taylor and other places like that. So it's got more robust distribution for offset, but he also, for a better quality book that is the same specs as that print on demand book, he actually makes closer to $9 or $10 per book in straight profit at a sale. And that is the difference with offset print, is that you can certainly earn more money. And that is how the big publishers, that's how HarperCollins and Penguin and all of those places, that's how they make it, because the margins on books are slimmer than a lot of other products on the market, because a book doesn't cost that much. But the bigger houses who are doing offset print, who have distribution, are earning much more on a book than the typical author using print on demand. So it's just a little bit different. Yeah, and there is a lot, and you don't have to order 10,000 copies of offset print. Typically, most places start with a minimum quantity of 500, but it can be 500, 750, 1,000. It's cheaper per unit the more you order. But the big thing is, okay, you get these books. How are you going to sell them? Are you selling them direct from your website? Are you going to work with a book distributor? If you're going to work with a book distributor, what are their fees? It's a lot more upfront cost than print on demand, which is why print on demand is so popular. And honestly, for many novels, print on demand is a great setup because there's very little upfront cost. For the average novel, you're not going to see a big difference in print quality. I mean, if what you do is printing, you would notice. The average reader is not going to notice a difference. And you're still earning a couple bucks per paperback sold typically. Especially on Amazon, a little bit less when you go to retail through like Ingram Spark. And you do get Ingram Wholesale through Ingram Spark, so you do have wholesale distribution. So it's not that one is a better choice than the other. It's knowing that there are choices and knowing what fits your publishing plan. Obviously, if you do a print pre-order for your book or like a GoFundMe or something like that, and you pre-sell 3,000 copies of your book, then an offset print might make sense because you've already sold those copies. You have that money up front. It's just a different option, but you do, as Nancy's saying in the chat, you have a lot more control with design, paper quality, and consistency. So there are pros and cons to both print on demand and offset print, but knowing that you have options and knowing kind of those pros and cons can help you decide what fits best for your book. I was just talking to someone this week who is working on like a coffee table book, and it's going to be hefty. It's over 300 pages. It is a photography book. It's got content too, but it's a photography book. It's something that it like focuses on some I'll call them public figures. So it focuses on different people. So it's their photograph and some write-ups. So it's very photo heavy. And so this book that'll be hardcover over 300 pages, and then it has to be printed in color. And then because of the photos, because it's, photos need premium quality paper and premium quality printing in color, which means it's all premium. Simply to print this book is going to cost in the range of $35, $40 print on demand. Then by the time you add in all the other fees and everything, if this person were to sell this book at even like $80 coffee table book, which can be a harder sell, print on demand, they're going to only make like $5 in profit on an $80 book because of the specs that they want for print on demand. And they are then still limited to what they can do, because then you have to look at the print on demand. What specs do they print? Can you print straight from KDP? Are you printing from Ingram Spark? So there are some books intrinsically that just don't work well with print on demand. And photography books, cookbooks, and like art books or coffee table books are some of those books that do not typically do well print on demand, or cost so much that it's hard to break even, or you are raising your prices out of marketability to cover your costs. And that's something, all the things that authors have to consider when they're thinking about what they're going to write, how they're going to publish. And I have authors who do actually really well print on demand for who have like print on demand for their novels and for their paperbacks. But then when it came to the same author who does very well self-publishing with print on demand, when it came to them wanting to write a cookbook, I said, hey, you can do this on your own, but if you're not willing to do offset print, I would consider pitching this to a publisher or to an agent, because this is a whole different beast. And they did, they got a deal and it made a lot of sense for them. Let's see, I see a question over here. Cheryl's asking, is it terribly expensive to have about 12 color drawings in a 6x9 book? How does full color compare to black and white with one color? Here's the thing, and this is for print on demand. When we're talking about print on demand, your book is either printed in color or it's printed in black and white. That is kind of how they standardize it. So if you have anything in your book you want printed in color, then your whole book is charged based on color printing. It doesn't matter if you have 50 photos or if you have 12 photos, it's still based on color printing. And so that's one thing to consider. And then it's not one color, there's premium color and then there's standard color. The difference is, I mean, they're all 4 color though. It's not just one color. So, because we know, if we go back to the color wheel in art class, we know that it takes many colors to make certain shades. And so it's 4 color printing. It's just the difference of the range and the type of ink. And so printing in color is printing in color, and yes, it is more expensive than black and white. Sometimes it can be double the cost depending on the trim size and all that kind of stuff. So I always ask people, like, okay, I see that you've got color in this. Are you planning on printing this in black and white? How important is the color? Do you want to look at the pricing? Because sometimes people are like, this must be in color. I want this family photo in color. And then we look at the pricing and they're like, yeah, I really like black and white. Black and white looks good, don't you think? Because the cost difference is so astronomical that it's not worth it for a lot of people. And that's okay. It's okay that that's how it is. They're all things, again, you have to consider it. And that's the amazing thing about indie and self-publishing, is that you are making these decisions based on your needs and all of that. Now, I love traditionally published books. I work with traditionally published authors, and I love that side of it too, but you do have a lot less control working with an author. You guys actually helped us work on his cover. I should show you guys what his cover ended up being. But so you guys helped work on this cover and like give insights and stuff. If he was with a publisher, they would say, here's your cover, here's the design, and he could ask for certain things, but ultimately it would be the publisher who made if he didn't love it, ultimately it's up to the publisher what the cover is. The author may have input, but not totally. So just one of those things. Let's see, Denise is asking, can you tell us about the special orange banners on Amazon? I can, I'll even share my screen and show it. Let me see, and congratulations, Denise. So let's talk about the famous orange banners on Amazon. All right, so this is Denise's new book. That just came out, Denise, by the way to get those reviews in. I'm not surprised. This is a super cute children's series, but you can see here that Denise's book, Violet's Voyages, Australia, has a #1 new release banner. So what this is this banner, the orange banner, is Amazon's way of showing that this is a top-selling book or a bestseller. And so actually what's very interesting about this is we'll look at, right now it says #1 new release, but if we go down here, so in children's mammal books, she's actually number 59 in the store, but it says #1 new release. So it's important to note that when your book first comes out, there is a window, I believe it's a 30-day window, or last I checked, where your book, if it is selling the best out of all the books who are uploaded to that particular category in the last 30 days, your book, if it's selling the best, can become #1 new release, which means your book is selling the best out of all the new books that were put into that category. And it's awesome because hey, you earned it. You're a #1 new release. But there are also banners, as we know. Let's actually go find one. There are also banners for the #1 in category. So again, the orange, but if we go to this book, you will see it's got the banner. This one says #1 bestseller. So #1 bestseller in children's mammal books. There's one more type of banner, and I will show you. So let's go here. All right, we're going to go to the Kindle store. So this is just the top 100 paid book on Amazon at this given time. And you will notice that this one falls in Amazon chart. So this is actually a blue banner. So when you are trending in the top for all Amazon books in Kindle or in print book, then you actually go on the Amazon charts and it's a blue banner. And that's based off of the actual sales. So we'll see, you can see here, #1 in Kindle store. So in all the Kindle store, this book is #1. And not surprising because Frida is definitely trending. So those are the different kinds of banners that we see. And the thing that we need to understand is that these banners are calculated hourly. So the way that it works is that Amazon calculates sales by the hour, and then your sales rank on bestseller list changes each hour depending on the sales that have been going throughout that day, and also that through the day and through that hour. So it's kind of like cumulative, that it's looking at like the day sales, but also it's looking at the last hour. So that's why you may be one rank at 10 a.m. and then at 3 p.m. you could be a different rank. And you may have that orange banner at 10 a.m. and then at 3 p.m. you don't have it, because that banner goes with the sales. And so if your book ends up with any type of banner, a #1 new release, anything like that, I highly encourage you to grab a screenshot so that you can see it forever, even though it will eventually go away unless your book stays on top forever and ever. Amen. And again, we can see the Amazon charts, and this is, you can see there's most read and most sold. They've got fiction, they've got nonfiction. I actually just finished Lessons in Chemistry audiobook this week, I think. And this is kind of the Amazon charts is like Amazon's version of the New York Times bestseller list, is kind of what it's like. And so you can see a lot of these books are big names, tons of reviews. I mean, most of these books, 44,000 reviews, 27,000 reviews. These books are being read a whole heck of a lot. And then of course it tells you if it's up or down that week. So this is kind of an interesting thing when we talk about bestseller lists, and we were talking about comp reads and what's trending and that kind of stuff. This is one of those lists that can be really helpful, not only category lists, but this list can also help you kind of see what's going on in the marketplace. Yeah, exactly. Yes, we would all love to be on this list. I understand. But anyway, so you should be very proud of an orange banner. It does mean you're a bestseller on Amazon. You're a best-selling author. And so it's a very exciting thing. It's showing that your book is doing well, that it's selling well, but take a screenshot because it could disappear at any time. And they don't like update on the hour. Usually it's a little after the hour. So usually I notice changes in Amazon sales rank around 10 to 15 minutes after the hour. And it's not like a person going in pushing a button. Their bot's doing it all, but it does take a while to update. So if you have like a BookBub deal or something like that, and you're promoting it out and you're watching your rank, which we all do. Okay, we all do it. I know, because I get all the text messages going, oh, we're up, we're down. Oh no, what's happening? But usually you refresh or check that about 15 minutes after the hour and you'll see updates. So very exciting though. All right, I think we ran through most of our questions, but if you guys have more questions, we've got a couple more minutes left, so drop them in the Q&A. I'm happy to answer those. See, well, my favorite Amazon screenshots are when my book is between two favorite authors. I love those days during a sale where my books are next to Shogun. Absolutely. So that's really fun, is when also when you're like, my book is currently doing better than so-and-so's book. Not because I'm competitive, because like, hey, it's selling, and like, hey, it's great to be in the presence of these people I've looked up to, or to the books that I've been following or read as a kid and that kind of thing. So I think it's just such a fun thing. We've talked about bestseller and what does it really mean? And it's something that is very fluid, especially on Amazon. It's very fluid. Again, it changes every hour, but it's a lot of fun, and it does show that your book is selling or that it's trending. A lot of times books will make it on the bestseller list because they have a book bub or they have some big promo deal. It's not as easy to keep a book on the bestseller list as it is to hit it for an hour. Yeah, see, number one new release is a fun thing, and that's when you're kind of pushing people at the same time. If you do pre-orders, so if you do pre-orders for like your Kindle book, those pre-orders kind of all crash in at the same time. So they're calculated as you go, as you're getting those pre-orders, but on launch day, they tend to kind of affect that as well. I'm sure there's some good algorithm going on in the back of Amazon that I won't even pretend to understand. It sounds too much like math. But I just think it's good. Yeah, I love that. And so many of you are saying that you've like hit number one new release or number one bestseller, which is fun. It's encouraging. It can be so easy to get discouraged in book sales because it's a long game, number one, and it's up and down. Speaking of that, a lot of reports are coming out talking about how book sales are down this year. Book sales are down. And yes, it's true. We are still coming off of that pandemic high from where book sales soared when everyone was kind of stuck at home and not talking to each other. Well, I mean, we're talking to each other, but it was different, right? So book sales soared in 2020 into 2021, and then we're slowly coming off of that high. And so you'll see a lot of reports, Publishers Weekly will put them out, about how book sales are falling and how book sales are lower than they were the previous year. And while that is true, because it is true, book sales are down for fiction. I think they're down about 6% was the last report that I had read. So they're down a little bit, but they're still higher than pre-pandemic numbers. So our book sales, like the numbers, are still higher than they were in 2019. They're lower from last year and certainly from 2020, but they're higher than they were before. So I think we had this kind of phenomena of sales that went up high, but it was never going to last because those circumstances weren't going to last forever. And thank goodness for that, right? But we're seeing that slide off. That doesn't mean people aren't reading anymore. I mean, that's just silly. There's still plenty of people reading. Summer can be a slow time for some books. I will say women's fiction and romance tends to pick up during the summer, but for some books, especially nonfiction books, they can kind of slow down in the summertime. So that's kind of the normal ebb and flow that we tend to see, and then they pick back up in the fall. It's like, you know, like everyone thinks they're going to read on vacation, but no one, we read, but I don't know about you, I don't want to think too hard. Like, yeah, I want to read a book, but I don't want to actually like think too very hard because it's vacation. And I think a lot of people feel that way, or you need a book that you can pick up and put down 52 times when you're at the pool with your kids, because you know they're going to come over for something. So it's not something you want to get too deeply into. So that's why we tend to look for easy reads, chick lit. Sometimes mysteries, cozy mysteries can be very popular in the summer, and that kind of thing. So fear not, it's up and down. I will say audiobooks are still up and trending. Audio is actually trending in children's books, which was interesting to me. Not surprising, more and more kids are getting devices. The average age that a child gets a phone is 10, and most toddlers have tablets. So we are seeing where audiobooks are becoming more popular in children's literature and in those genres. And this is typically not picture books, although sometimes we do see audiobooks that are like read along, but this is typically starting in chapter books. And it's because kids as young as 10, actually 10 is the average age. That's not as young. I've seen 6 and 8-year-olds with phones, but the average age being 10, they have audiobook access now, and tablets, they have audiobook access. So kids are listening to audiobooks. And so I know that's a question that often comes up is, should I even invest in audiobooks if it's a kid's book? And yeah, if it's a chapter book and it's anywhere from, I'd say around age 8 all the way up through high school, I think that there's opportunity for audiobook sales, and they're trending up. And more kids have more devices, they're getting them younger. And so it makes sense to me, and I can see where those would be trending up. So, all right, you guys, I think we answered all of our questions today, so I'm gonna hop off. Thank you for joining me. If you have questions that you would like to get answered next week, please feel free to join us again or email us at info@newshelves.com. And I would also love if you guys would kind of give me feedback on what kind of guests you like to have on Free Advice Friday. I'm trying to get about a guest at least once a month. This month, of course, we had Erica McIntyre, who is an editor. May, we had Danielle, who was ghostwriter. So if you have special guests, or you feel like you have something that would interest our group here and you want to put yourself up for it, I'd love to know about it. But if you're looking for anyone in particular, I've been talking to an audiobook narrator. I know I just did a recording, but that person wasn't able to come on Free Advice Friday. So I've been talking to an audiobook narrator, possibly someone who does podcasting, who actually is an author who started her own podcast. So different things like that. If you have someone that you would really love to pick their brain and get their advice and questions, let me know, and I'll see about getting them on the show. So thanks for joining me. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.